Ta-da! All right, very exciting. Getting ready for some harmonica today. I'm moving everything around. If you are logging into the recording, we are 2 minutes early. So wait 2 minutes, fast forward 2 minutes to get started. Everything I say now, between now and 2 minutes from now, will just be stalling and waiting, wasting time. I have completely redone the sound system in this studio yet again. Favorite thing is there are a bunch of shadows on this wall, and I have no idea what's causing them. So those are for I don't know what's going on there. The sound system should work. I've eliminated every possible reason why it wouldn't work, and so my hope is, as people are logging in, they'll be like, "Wow, you sound really great." And there is no weirdness going on. So last couple weeks we've had times when we're going along, things are great, and then suddenly it doesn't work. And so Vic is in. She says the sound is good. So if Vic says the sound is good, the sound is good. She's our longtime sound engineer around here, and among many of our other talents, exceedingly wonderful musician. And yeah, so that's the plan. Gene is in. LG is here. Hi guys, good to see you. We are going to start in 1 minute, and hopefully you've had a chance to pull up your sheet music for everything. This is going to be sheet music revision week, and I've already got one piece almost done for harmonica, and then I'm gonna just at the very minimum slow down everything else. I was playing all these new ones today, and they're all set too fast as well. With when you're playing the other instruments, when you're playing ukulele, when you're playing guitar, playing piano, you can go fast, you really can. But when you're playing a wind instrument, yeah, you can go fast, but is it fun? Is it what you really want to be doing? And I don't think so. I would much rather take a little bit more leisurely pace with these songs. Give each note a chance to be what it is. And so we're going to slow them down. We're going to add in some special effects, hopefully, and go through all of my sound engines and all of my sheet music and see if we can't find some cool backing track sounds. I've been planning this for a long time. I haven't been particularly successful at getting it done yet, but it's definitely. Don't you look forward to harmonica night? I mean, honestly, it's awesome. And then I'm going to be posting a lot more on YouTube, just as those one-off recordings. And I'll post, when I do that, I will put a note on the website, which will kick out an email to you, and all that should be hunky-dory. The problem with the email this week, and I think I know why, it didn't give you the link back to the website, and so several of you wrote to me and said, "Hey, there's no link," and most of you figured it out, but a few people were like, "What do I do?" And so we're going to hopefully continue to get the technology cleaned up and the songs cleaned up and the backing tracks better and all that stuff. And like I say, this is turning out to be always was one of my secret joys, playing harmonica. It's kind of funny when you tell people you do that, they immediately change the subject. They're like, "I don't want to talk about that." And but that's not going to be that way for very much longer. People are finding out about the glories of this $45 instrument, and I've already seen a bunch of university level chatter about it. There's one guy in Italy who's taking it very seriously, but other than that, there's not much going on. And that's as soon as you find an instrument that's a good instrument that nothing's going on, that's when you get on board. And so you guys are ahead of the curve. Yeah. And Gene says, "Woohoo, harmonica night." Harmonica night, Monday nights, right? Some of the people in the ukulele orchestra are mad that we're having this on Monday nights up against them, like two of them. And the problem is I love both of those people, but you know what? I don't want to. I want them to do what they do, get that part handled, and then they can come back and check the recordings out, which they may or may not do. We'll see how serious they are about. If you're watching this recording, send me an email and say, "I'm serious about harmonica." All right. If you're here live, I already know you are. All right, so tonight we're playing On Top of Spaghetti, All Through the Night, and America the Beautiful. We'll just play through them. We'll enjoy the time together, and then we may knock out Clair de la Lune, House of the Rising Sun, and Heidenröslein again, just to keep us in the ball game. And then this week, slowing all of the all the recordings down to a reasonable pace where they can be played well. Maybe making a few adjustments to the sheet music, and then all of those we'll probably tackle them again next week. So don't fall in hate of these songs yet. We got a few more, at least one more week after tonight that I want to do them, and so there. And obviously on the website there's a ton more stuff for you to play. But let's get really good at a few things. And so yeah, so I'm checking my email just to see if anybody's like, "Where the heck are you?" Hopefully they figured out. Just go to the YouTube page and my YouTube page, and it magically pops up, right? And so then you click on go, and here you are. All right, On Top of Spaghetti. We use this as a warm-up forever, and you're supposed to play it 6 times. Let's not play it 6 times. Let's play it twice, okay? And again, be thinking about one, you're just warming up your whole harmonica, right? You're just really getting your face in it. Ooh. Tone is everything in harmonica. As you start a note, have your inside of your mouth a little bit tight, loosen it up and tighten it again. So the notes kind of go like this. On top of spaghetti, getty. All right. So you want those. You'd love to have that sort of shaped tone. I'm way exaggerating in what you're looking for. Playing a 4, playing a 4, playing a 5, playing a 6. That's all. That gets you the tune. Getting the tune well means trying to make each note matter. And the fast notes are very difficult to do that with, but the slow notes you got enough time to do that. And make sure you're counting your long notes. If you eat spaghetti, all right, the really long notes. Make sure that in your head you're kind of going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, because otherwise you'll come in too early. And then I set the pace, right? Whatever pace I go at, you're playing with me. That's the ensemble part. That way, if you miss a note, you just let it go and move on to the next one. I will make one comment about this piece of sheet music. Measure 4, the second note, which is an all, or and, or as, or with, or all. So the first singing note in measure 4, which is the second note, and I hope I'm clear on that. The measure 4, beat 3, there's a note, and you have -5 written there. It also sounds really good with -6. I think maybe -6 is maybe more what people want to play on that. But put a -6 and then a little question mark after it above that note or next to that note. And then you can decide. Either one is fine, right? 5 or -6 works as well. But all covered with versus all covered with. So some people probably wanted to come in higher and drop down lower, and have usually sung it as the same note, 2 Fs in a row. Okay, that's my only note. 2 times through, not fast. Pick up note on beat 3. 1, 2. What did I do? Hold on. What did I do? Oh, I stayed on the 6, and that's what I stayed on the 6. I don't like it that way. From the try -5. Do whichever. From the top, 1, 2. right? Couple of thoughts. One, hopefully you skipped measure 12 and 13 that last time through. The last time through, we always skip that and go on to the second ending. In this case, it would be the sixth ending, but we think of it as the second ending, the other ending. So if you want to play the whole song, you go through that 6 times, and then on the 6th time, you don't play 12 and 13, jump over, play 4, and then that high 10. Okay, how'd you do on that? Nice and long, let it fade out, right? Because that's sort of this end of the moral of the story, and we're done. And listen how fun that is. Remember, you're breathing from your belly, not your chest and not your neck. Pushing that air up, making it as soft and beautiful as you can. The other thing I noticed, the reason that I like playing from the MP3s or the backing tracks, is you learn things about the music that you are probably playing incorrectly. Probably forever, I have been playing measure 10 wrong. I've been playing it as a 4-beat measure. I've been having the first beat in measure 10 last too long, and then putting on 5 and then playing the 5. That's only 2 beats, and I was just realizing today, playing it with the MP3, I usually make that I lost my poor meatball when somebody, so I'm adding in a beat in that measure, and you don't want to do that, right? Unless it says to add a beat in the measure, but it doesn't, and so that -4 to 5 is actually quite short, and it feels really rushed, and I made myself a note, fast, right? So to remember to play that really tight. We can actually play this one with the backing track, so I'm going to turn it on, and let's give it a try. I thought I had this pulled up on here. I was going to be all ready for you guys. New tab, H Harmonica Band, weekly meeting schedule, on top of spaghetti. Alright, so this is kind of loud. I don't know if I'm going to be too loud or not. It goes for 2 minutes. We're not going to play it for 2 minutes, but let's play it 2 times through, and then I'll just stop the backing track. Okay, so again, same song, and then try to play with, and I will play with the backing track, you're playing with me, and then we are really playing ensemble music. Ready? 2 beats, get ready on blow 4. Go. Way faster. Okay, so it's probably still a little too fast. I got it set at 120. I'll probably drop it down to 100. But you get the idea, right? You learn a lot about the sheet music when you play along with the recording. That are you making the notes when you're supposed to be? And then I think that clears up the rest of your musicianship. Or if you're like, I hate that song that way, I'm going to add in an extra beat in that one measure. And you're allowed to do that, right? It's not against the law. You could send me an email and say, Gary, measure 10 should have 4 beats in it, and so we added it. Feels real different with tracks. Here's the good news about playing with ensemble and the bad news about playing with ensemble. The good news is you're a much better musician. You're going to be right on the beat. And it feels like, oh my gosh, I'm out of control a little bit of the time until you master it, and then it's easy, right? Because you just follow along with the beat and you do exactly what you've been trained to do, and you don't have to think anymore. If you're a solo artist and you don't do that, you end up I get to decide how long the notes are, which can be both good and bad. If you start following what's on the paper, it starts being about you, and if you are making good decisions, you're going to have people are going to just admire you and think how great you are. If you are not doing a great job, they're going to be like, I don't want to listen to that guy anymore. And I know over the years I've got much better at pretty much keeping songs in tempo. However, a couple of years back, we were playing Summertime in one of my university classes, and so I made a harmonica video of it using my own sheet music, and I wasn't playing the timing right, even close. And you're like, well, I don't know, what are you going to, I don't know, I want to do it my way, not what's on the paper, and then I don't know if that was good or bad, but anyway, you just learn stuff about the music, you learn stuff about you, the musician, and I think what Vic says, it feels very different, just that different feeling. That feels rushed because the music's so fast, but it also feels like you are part of this bigger whole, which makes it a little bit comforting in some ways. So lots of different emotional responses to playing with backing tracks, but you know, all in all, a good thing. All right, let's go through All Through the Night. Let's pull that guy up, and again, its MP3 is way too fast, so we won't play with that tonight. I am going to slow them all down, so next week we'll play through. I'll try to have them all ready so we can play with them. Now, first thing you see on this, right, All Through the Night, and you're like, there's a diatonic line and a chromatic line. What should that say to you? Okay, pop quiz. If there's a diatonic line and there's a chromatic line, what should that tell you? Pause for effect. Play the chromatic line. That's what it should tell you. If there's a diatonic line, it's going to be very high and pretty hard to play. Now, why would I leave that on there when I have a ready-made solution? Well, you need to learn how to play out a whole number 10. This has got to draw 10, measure 10. Right? Ugh, that hurts your ears, right? I'm not telling you should go into public and play that. If you do that, go get your low F harmonica. But you should. I like diatonic. Vic's like, I'm playing diatonic. Screw you, Gary. Yeah, so I like diatonic too, except that inevitably you're going to be playing up those pretty high notes, and it's sometimes your ear's like, I don't think I like that very much. So get a lower pitched harmonica, and then you can play those just fine. The problem is then you can't play with the group unless you get a low pitched C, and I did have a low pitched C for a while before I threw it away. It is just too low. So you're playing down here and it's like squawk. I don't know, it's just my own opinion, but in this case, all diatonic songs can be played on chromatic, and you have a lot more choices on chromatic about whether to play high or play low. And my tendency when I'm arranging is I would like to play the chromatic harmonica right here, and then if I have to go up here, rather than playing it here and then being required to be up here, right? And so this one, I'm going to switch over to chromatic right off the bat, and I'm like, well, that's to me is a no-brainer. It's going to sound better on chromatic. A little bit harder to play maybe, but definitely going to sound better. And I know if it can be played on diatonic, I know I'm not going to have to push any buttons on this, right? So I know it's going to be all natural notes. LG says, I get no sound out of 10. Tired of buying diatonics, many in the graveyard. Well, before you throw your harmonicas away, let's talk about Gary, because that's what we're here to really do, is just talk about me. When I first started playing, I could no more get a sound out of whole 10 than Fly to the Moon. And then over time I learned it's not always the harmonica. Now, if you have a $12 harmonica, it's probably the harmonica. But if you have a $40 harmonica, it's probably you, right? And so the whole number 10, the only way you're going to get good sound out of that is to have proper breathing, okay? So if I'm pushing air, I'm purposely pulling it out of my cheeks. You get this kind of pinched, weird sound. If I pull it out of my belly, it's a lot more reliable sound. It's not necessarily guaranteed, but it's a lot more reliable. And then if I'm drawing, same thing. My belly should be coming out. And it sounds fine, okay? Now this is a Special 20, and you guys know I like the Special 20s. I mainly like them because they have plastic centers, and I don't have to worry about the wood expanding and warping and all the things that happen on the wooden harmonicas. But be aware, it is theoretically possible when bad sounds are coming out of here that it might be operator error. So don't throw them away, Linda. Put them in a box and put "this harmonica sucks" on a piece, on a sticky note, and wrap it around with a rubber band, and just leave it in there, right? And then a year from now or 2 years from now, come back and try them again. If they still suck after you're really pretty decent at playing, then throw them away, right? Or give them to Goodwill. Some kid will end up with them. All right. So that's a funny conversation. I'm glad we had that. All right. I'm going to play all through the night. The sheet music is set up to be played 3 times. That's too many. We're going to play it twice. Remember, on the second time down, you're going to pretend it's the second ending. You're not going to play 16. You're skipping 15 and playing 17. Notice all through the night, you have a 7. Or on a chromatic is 4, sorry. But you also know you can always end on a chord, right? So if you have a C chord at the end, you can open your mouth up, cover multiple holes, and get a nice chord at the end, or a high chord. Both of those are going to sound pretty, and both of those are going to be acceptable. And so a lot of times you're going to hear me dropping in a chord at the end. I don't do it throughout the piece, but at the end, I like dropping a whole chord on because it just tells the audience I am officially done. Okay? Many in the graveyard. Now, you didn't actually throw them away, right? They're in the harmonica graveyard. That's this box. I have the harmonica graveyard too. It's a box, and it sits on a shelf, and it sits over in my storage unit, and it's just full of what I consider to be dead harmonicas. The harmonica graveyard. All right. I have thrown a few away. Mostly I've ruined them, but occasionally they have to just go. All right. 4-beat count in, not particularly fast. To know about this song, it's a very old-fashioned song. However, Sheryl Crow did a lovely version of this it's going to be a dozen years ago. And so, but it's a lullaby, right? And if you read the third verse, it's theoretically maybe it's a eulogy. I don't know. It's a super emotional song. Think of it as a lullaby. Give it that lullaby feeling. Don't be in a hurry. Sleep, my child, and peace attend thee all through the night. That's what you're after. Okay. 1, 2, ready. Play. Ta-da! Right? couple of thoughts that I was having. Number one, I didn't talk about the fermata at the end of measure 12. Well, how long is a fermata? Well, if you are playing an ensemble, I'm supposed to give you a head bob, right? Okay, that's the end of that note, right? It's going to be long. On a lullaby, a slow song like this, let it be extra long kind of thing. If it's on a fast song, it's just a little bit longer, right? But it depends on where it happens, of course. But pay attention to those. This gives you another chance to bring in your vocal qualities on here. And slumber sleeping, and then let it fade out, da ba bum bum, and then finish it up. Right. So that was one. The other thing is when you're getting to that last chord and you're like, all right, I'm going to open it up and drop a chord in there. Oh. You got to think about how long is that chord going to be, and should you fade it out at the end, that type of stuff. So be listening to your harmonica and trying different things. Don't just go right. If you're playing a train song, maybe, but if you're playing something that's sweet and careful and soft and beautiful, be thoughtful that you're doing it on purpose. Whatever sounds you're making them on purpose. Isn't that a lovely song? The MP3 is too fast. I'll slow it down this week, and we'll play it next week with the backing track. I'll see if I can add in some violins and stuff to make it really like, ooh, very fancy. Nice. Okay, good job. All right, next song on our list tonight, and this should wrap us up, but we're going to play a couple to just go. Oh, America the Beautiful. So, patriotic songs, right? It's a tough time I think for everybody, I believe, but it's certainly for half of the country or more. This is a really tough time. So playing these kinds of songs is a little bit charged with, it's fraught with peril, I guess. We're here to play the melody, to learn the things that are on here. We're not here to I hope that you can get beyond whatever politics we're dealing with to just play this lovely melody. It's a great melody. Kathy Bates, you know her. She hit Stephen King on the foot with a sledgehammer. Different Kathy Bates wrote this. She wrote it. She was actually inspired by being at Pikes Peak in Colorado. And that's where the Purple Mountain Majesties are, apparently. She's from Kansas, if I remember right. And that's, the golden fields and all that, but I like the melody, and the melody fits really nice on Chromatic, and super easy to play. Just one of those songs. It's kind of a nice song, and just pretend that what's going on in your head one way or the other is not what's going on there. You're here to play a song. The key, of course, is it's chromatic, and you're like, well, I don't see any stars. You don't until measure 7, and man, that's going to sneak up on you, and you're gonna blow it. So when you're playing a little bit more sophisticated music, you got to know somewhere in there's going to be sharps or flats. Go find them, and maybe put a little red dot or a yellow highlighter or something there, just to remind yourself, hey, you might want to get your thumb ready, because it's coming up. And for those of you guys, we talked about this last week, but holding Chromatic is a little bit more challenging. Now, the books always tell you to use your index finger here, right? Do this. I have always found that super awkward, so I almost always play with my thumb over here. You do you. I don't know, maybe use your pinky. But when you know that there's a star coming up, you might want to just sort of be poised and ready to go. I still think having your sound chamber out here in front is important, even though half the harmonica is sticking out from beyond there. Maybe it's helping, maybe it's not. But just be ready with here you are hanging out on your sound chamber. Thumb, not thumb, kind of thing. Or index finger, not index finger, right? I don't think there's not a right answer to that, and there's certainly not a technique answer. I just find, hey man, for me, this is going to work better. Okay? All right, America the Beautiful, 2 times through. Don't play measure 16 the second time through. 3-beat count in, 1-note pickup on 3. 1, 2, 3. go. There's a little chord at the end for you. All right, beautiful. 7:30 already. Goodness sakes. All right, very quickly, let's run through a couple things from the last couple weeks. Go grab, is Clair de Lune Diatonic? Go grab Clair de la Lune. I hope it's Diatonic. B Diatonic, B Diatonic, B Diatonic. Where O? It's under O. Oh, Clair de la Lune. Yes, it's Diatonic. Okay. Oh, Clair de la Lune. 2 times through. Skip measure 16 the second time. And remember, the last note in measure 15 is a -8. Not an 8. Here we go. Blow 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. Dropped in a 10 on the end there, right? Okay, whew. Takes a lot of air. Simple song, really a lot to play. Then let's go grab, I'm going to go through the last one, go do these repeats real quick. House of the Rising Sun, House of the Rising Sun, House of the Rising Sun. Another one with just one stupid sharp in there, right? Otherwise we can play this on diatonic. All right, and then your one sharp is down in measure 14, right? And it's right as a part of a slur, so it's hard to slur that. All right, from the top. This is 3 times through. It's a short song. Let's play all three versions. And remember, listen to your lyrics in your head so that you know measure 11. There's a place where we do 1, where we stretch 1 -5 across. The second verse we just play 1 single -5, and then in measure 12. And in measure 13, the last note of each of those measures in the last verse, you hit those notes twice, okay? Because the lyrics ask you to do that. The sheet music doesn't let you know. All right, chromatic harmonica, draw 3, 2 beats in, and then we go. 1, 2. Find the -3. We go 1, 2. That's what you're trying for. That's what I was trying for. All right, and now I am out of shape, you guys. I go to the gym all the time too. That's what's really disappointing. All right, and then it's different workout, right? The gym, you're like running on the treadmill. You get the harmonica, and you're like long, beautiful, flowing notes. All right. Isn't that how it works, right? Okay, guys. Heidenröslein, again, we don't know the words, right? We know it's about a fella who comes by and he picks a rose and the rose pokes him and he's bleeding, right? Or I think he starts to pluck the flower and the rose pokes him and he looks, he's bleeding, like dunk on it, plucks the flower anyway. All right, just one time through, right? Just to remind you of how the melody goes. And a lot of times you're like, I don't know how the melody goes. You're like, you know what? I have a resource. Let's go in. If we look at front page, Harmonica Band, go back, harmonicaband.com. I go to sheet music, blink, scroll down to Chromatic, find Heidenröslein, and hit play. And usually that's enough. Bum, 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 ba-dum, bum, bum, bum. Okay, give it a try. But, yeah, right? Maybe this way, maybe this way, maybe this way. Okay. 1, 2. And there you have it, right? So there we go. And that's just to get you back into the idea of it. A lot of times when I don't know a song, listen to MP3. Or a lot of times, a song I haven't played in a while. I know how it goes, I think, but I'm going to go through and play the MP3 real quick just to make sure it's in there, what I think it's in there. That's why I post the MP3s for all these songs, because the sheet music may or may not be what's in your noggin. And sometimes there's nothing in your noggin. Go play the MP3 real quick, get it in your head, and then go play it. Because ultimately we'll be having these MP3s set where you play right along note for note with them, and that'll be easier in that respect, right? Because you'll just be following along. I am including the harmonica line in the backing tracks to kind of help you, right? If you get a little off, backing track might kind of cover up your mistake a little bit. All right, guys, there we go. 7:39. Like, that's how long I want these classes to be. 30 minutes. You come in, get your harmonica in, get your lungs opened up, get your chance to get out your harmonicas and blow through them a little bit. With maintenance and care, if it's all plastic, you can just run this under some warm water and then make sure you dry it out, and then it'll last forever, as far as I can tell. It lasts a while. If it's made like this is with plastic in here, if it's made out of wood, you don't want to mess with that. You got to be very careful about cleaning those. And online there's a zillion videos that guys have done about how to clean your harmonica with wood in them. But bottom line is, you don't want to get the wood put in. You don't want to drop it in vinegar and hope for the best, because nothing good's going to happen. Use your harmonica, a little bit of vinegar and a little bit of water. That'll keep most of your all plastic and all metal harmonicas happy. I usually just run it under some warm water and let it, put it on top of the heater, let it blow dry it, and so there's that. All right, kids, have a wonderful evening. I'll see you soon. Peace, peace, peace.